There's a quiet kind of magic in reading. No loud sounds, no flashy lights, just ink, paper, and the mind at work. Whether it's a hardcover book, an e-reader, a large print magazine, or even the daily crossword puzzle, reading is something many of us have done our whole lives. But did you know that reading is not just a pastime or a source of entertainment? It's actually one of the most powerful tools we have to protect the aging brain. As we grow older, it's natural for our bodies and minds to change. Names slip our minds more easily, tasks take a bit more focus, and sometimes we worry about losing the mental sharpness we once had. These changes can feel frustrating or even frightening. But here's the good news. Just like physical activity helps keep the body strong, mental activity, especially reading, helps keep the brain in shape. In fact, scientific research now confirms what many lifelong readers have felt intuitively all along. Reading can slow cognitive decline, improve memory, reduce stress, and even delay the onset of diseases like Alzheimer's. A study published in the journal Neurology found that seniors who engaged regularly in mentally stimulating activities, such as reading, had significantly slower rates of memory loss than those who didn't. And the benefits were not limited to those who had spent their lives reading. Even those who picked up the habit later in life saw measurable improvements. Think about that for a moment. That means it's never too late to start. Even a few pages a day can make a meaningful difference in how your brain ages. And there's more. Reading is linked to better sleep, stronger emotional health, and greater feelings of social connection, all of which play critical roles in aging well. In today's video, we'll explore exactly how reading benefits the aging brain, from memory support to mental focus, from emotional well-being to cognitive protection. Whether you're in your 60s, 70s, 80s, or beyond, reading can be a gentle yet powerful way to nourish your mind. So, grab a cup of tea, settle into your favorite chair, and let's dive into the incredible science and soul behind how reading supports brain health in our later years. Number 1. Mental stimulation. Exercise for the mind. You've probably heard the old saying, use it or lose it. That applies just as much to the brain as it does to the body. As we age, the brain naturally begins to shrink in volume and slow down in processing information. But just like regular walking keeps the legs strong and joints flexible, reading keeps the brain sharp and engaged. It's one of the easiest, most effective forms of mental stimulation, and it can be done from the comfort of your favorite armchair. When you read, your brain lights up in several areas all at once. You're using your visual cortex to process words, your language center to understand them, and your memory centers to retain and recall what you've read. You're also exercising your imagination, especially with fiction or poetry, where you're asked to picture scenes, characters, and emotions. In other words, reading isn't passive, it's active brain work. And unlike watching TV, which can make us mentally passive over time, reading demands your brain to think, connect, and respond. It invites you to pause, to interpret, to ask questions, even to disagree with what you're reading. This is what makes reading such a powerful mental workout, especially in older age. Scientific studies back this up. One research project from Rush University Medical Center in Chicago found that older adults who frequently engaged in cognitive activities like reading showed a 15% slower rate of cognitive decline compared to those who didn't. They were also more likely to maintain independence longer. Even better, reading builds something called cognitive reserve, a kind of mental savings account that helps the brain bounce back or compensate when things like memory loss or confusion start creeping in. The more cognitive reserve you build over time, the better your brain can handle aging. So, if you read every day, even just for 15 to 30 minutes, you're not just enjoying a story. You're preserving your independence, protecting your brain and investing in a sharper, more capable future self. Number 2. Memory boosting, training your brain to remember. Let's talk about memory, one of the most common concerns we face as we age. Have you ever walked into a room and forgotten why? Or struggled to recall someone's name even though it was on the tip of your tongue? These moments are a normal part of aging, but reading can help keep those memory lapses fewer and farther between. Here's why. When you read, your brain is constantly storing, recalling, and organizing information. Whether it's remembering who the characters are, what happened in the last chapter, or how a plot twist connects back to something earlier, it all gives your memory a workout. Think of it this way. Every time you open a book, you're giving your brain a gentle push to recall, retain, and rehearse information. It's like practicing mental gymnastics without the physical strain. And it's not just fiction that does the trick. Reading nonfiction, articles, spiritual texts, or even history books also gives your brain a memory challenge. You're absorbing dates, facts, life lessons, and deep meanings, all of which stimulate the hippocampus, the region of the brain most closely linked to memory formation and retrieval. In fact, research from the National Institute on Aging shows that people who engage regularly in reading and similar activities have better episodic memory, which is the ability to recall specific experiences and details from the past. This is the type of memory most vulnerable to decline in conditions like Alzheimer's. Even more encouraging, memory doesn't have to fade as fast as we fear. With regular stimulation through reading, many older adults report not only retaining memories better, but also improving their recall over time. And here's something else. Reading helps improve working memory too. The kind of memory you use when you're juggling tasks like cooking dinner, answering a phone call, and remembering a doctor's appointment all in the same afternoon. The more you train your brain to hold and process information through reading, the stronger this ability becomes. So the next time you find yourself forgetting something, don't panic. Pick up a book instead. You're not just passing the time, you're retraining your brain to remember. Number 3. Slowing down cognitive decline, protecting against dementia. Let's take a closer look at something that many older adults worry about, but don't always know how to prevent: cognitive decline. As we age, it's natural for the brain to slow down a little. We may not be able to process things as quickly, or recall names or dates as easily. But there's a difference between normal age-related forgetfulness and the kind of serious memory loss seen in conditions like Alzheimer's or dementia. What if there was a simple activity, one that doesn't require any special equipment, medicine, or appointments, that could help slow down this mental aging process? Reading may be one of the best tools we have. In a landmark study published in Neurology, researchers followed hundreds of older adults for several years. They found that those who engaged in mentally stimulating activities, especially reading, writing, and doing puzzles, experienced a significantly slower rate of mental decline, even when brain scans later revealed physical signs of Alzheimer's disease. In other words, the brains of readers stayed stronger, even when other signs of aging showed up. How does this work? Reading encourages neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to form new connections between brain cells. This is especially important later in life, when we need to adapt to changes in memory, thinking, or physical ability. Reading also boosts blood flow to the brain, reduces inflammation, and activates deep thinking and imagination, all of which help preserve mental function. And it's never too late to benefit. Even if you didn't read much earlier in life, starting now can still help build up what researchers call a cognitive reserve. This reserve acts like a buffer, allowing your brain to better handle the stress of aging and maintain function longer. So whether you're reading a novel, a magazine article, or a devotional in the morning, you're actively pushing back against decline. You're telling your brain, I'm still here, I'm still learning, and I'm still strong. Number 4. Reducing stress and improving sleep. A calmer mind, a healthier brain. The effects of reading go beyond memory and mental sharpness. They also touch something just as important: your emotional well-being. Many seniors experience higher levels of stress, especially when facing health issues, changes in mobility, loss of loved ones, or loneliness. Chronic stress, over time, doesn't just affect mood. It can harm brain health, disrupt sleep, and even increase the risk of cognitive problems. Reading, however, is a gentle, effective way to reduce stress, and it works quickly. In one study conducted by researchers at the University of Sussex, participants who read quietly for just 6 minutes experienced a 68% reduction in stress levels. That's more effective than listening to music, taking a walk, or having a cup of tea. Why is reading so powerful for stress relief? Because it offers mental escape. When you're immersed in a story, your brain shifts away from anxious thoughts and becomes absorbed in something outside of yourself. Fiction takes you into other people's lives, other places, other time periods, breaking the cycle of worry and distraction. Nonfiction can also soothe the mind. Inspirational books, spiritual texts, or self-help material can offer comfort, purpose, and clarity. And here's something else many seniors will appreciate. Reading can improve sleep. Many people struggle to fall asleep or stay asleep as they age. But incorporating a short reading session, especially with a physical book or e-reader that doesn't emit blue light, can help the brain wind down. It becomes a calming ritual that signals to your body, it's time to rest. Unlike watching TV or scrolling on a smartphone, which stimulate the brain and interfere with melatonin production, reading helps the brain enter a relaxed state. Over time, this can lead to deeper, more restful sleep, which in turn improves mood, memory, and energy the next day. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, anxious, or having trouble sleeping, consider turning off the screens and picking up a book instead. Let the quiet words do their work, easing the tension in your mind and guiding you into peace. Number 5. Emotional health. Connection and joy through stories. As we grow older, the world around us begins to change. Friends move away. Family becomes busy. The house might feel quieter than it used to. And with that quiet can come an unexpected visitor: loneliness. But here's something beautiful. Reading can offer deep emotional nourishment and even a sense of connection when we need it most. When you open a book, you're not just reading words. You're stepping into a world full of people, places, emotions, and stories. You walk alongside characters, feel their hopes and heartbreaks, and experience adventures from the comfort of your own home. It's a powerful reminder that, no matter your age or circumstance, you are never truly alone. Stories can make you laugh out loud or bring tears to your eyes. They can stir old memories and even heal emotional wounds. Reading helps you understand others, and in many cases, better understand yourself. For those who have lost a spouse or partner, reading can offer a gentle escape, or sometimes a sense of shared experience through a character's journey. For others, it may bring back the joy of learning, the fun of being curious, or the comfort of old favorites from their younger years. Joining a book club, even a small one at a local library or church, can spark conversation and community. Many seniors also enjoy reading aloud to grandchildren, which not only creates beautiful bonding moments, but also keeps the mind engaged. And let's not forget the joy of rereading an old favorite, a book you once loved decades ago. Revisiting it with older, wiser eyes often reveals new meanings. It's like catching up with an old friend who never forgot you. Reading nurtures emotional resilience, that ability to stay mentally strong through life's changes. It brings joy, comfort, meaning, and connection. And that, too, is medicine for the soul. Number 6. Improving focus and patience in a fast-paced world. Today's world moves fast. Texts, notifications, television, social media. Everything is instant. Everything is loud. And for many older adults, it can feel overwhelming. We're living in a time when attention spans are shrinking, but reading is one of the few activities that asks us to slow down and rewards us for it. Unlike scrolling on a phone, which constantly pulls our attention in different directions, reading demands focus. You follow a sentence from start to finish. You sit with a paragraph and let it sink in. You take time to absorb the meaning rather than rushing to the next thing. This practice of sustained attention is incredibly valuable for older adults. Why? Because maintaining your focus helps protect your executive functions, the brain's ability to plan, organize, and concentrate. These are often the skills that decline with age, but reading helps keep them strong. Reading also teaches patience. A story unfolds page by page, not all at once. Lessons are revealed gradually. There's no fast-forward button, only the pace you choose. And in that slowness, there is beauty. Over time, regular reading trains the mind to stay with one task longer, to filter out distractions, and to appreciate depth over speed. This can help not only with understanding books, but also with everyday tasks like conversations, meal prep, or even walking outdoors without feeling rushed. So, while the world hurries on, let your reading be your anchor. It's a reminder that a slow mind isn't a dull mind. It's a focused, thoughtful, and calm one. Reading is not just a habit. It's a lifelong companion, a bridge to better brain health, and a gift that keeps giving. Year after year, chapter after chapter. Whether you've always loved books or you're just starting to read more in your later years, remember this: every page you turn is an act of self-care. You're exercising your brain. You're strengthening your memory. You're calming your nerves. You're connecting with others. You're keeping your mind alive. And you don't need expensive programs or complicated devices to do it. All you need is a book, or even a newspaper, a magazine, or a short article online. So give yourself that time. Make reading a part of your daily routine, like a walk, a warm drink, or a quiet moment of prayer. Because the story isn't over. Not your story, not your growth, not your mind. In fact, in many ways, it's just beginning a beautiful new chapter. Thank you for joining us. If you found this message helpful or inspiring, please like, share, and subscribe for more videos dedicated to senior wellness, wisdom, and well-being. And remember, reading doesn't just change your day. It can change your brain, your heart, and your life. Read on. You're worth it.